Let's take a look at an archived post from Reddit in which the question is asked: can capitalism coexist alongside socialism? The asker of the question says, socialism by definition is a political and economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, distribution and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. Can capitalism or something similar coexist alongside this? I felt for a while that capitalism can coexist with socialism as long as it's worker-controlled and heavily regulated. Well, a user called Cynical Ostrich, she, wasn't having any of this coexistence talk. They said, no, they cannot coexist in any way, shape or form. There can be things like workers' cooperatives within capitalism, but that would not constitute as socialism. Until the entire economy is worker-controlled and owned, and a classless society is reached, only then can socialism exist. And this person goes on to point out in another post that socialism is an internationalist movement. So, therefore the overthrow of, quote, liberal bourgeois democracies, the rising up of the proletariat, the overthrow of the bourgeoisie, the creation of a classless society. We're talking about subjectively defined concepts when we talk about social class. I'm obviously not the only one who sees Marx's conception of class as being somewhat limited. There's more to this current hierarchy to which we are subject than just our relationship to the means of production. There's more to it than that. Yes. Layers of injustice. This user calls himself cynical, the cynical ostrich, but I ask, would it be cynical of me to suggest that an air quotes classless society is quite impossible? We are, as a species, bound to carve out or establish these dominance hierarchies where we are in competition for limited opportunities, limited resources. I don't think I actually am cynical in that I see people as not purely motivated by base self-interest. Decency, generosity, kindness, these are all clearly human characteristics, but we are, generally speaking, selfish creatures, and we do continue to fight each other for limited resources. For sure, though, collective struggle can do away with one form of hierarchy, but what do you know? Along comes another, maybe more unpalatable than the last one, depending on your political bent, shall we say. The struggle for freedom and justice continues. Yeah. There seems to be a heated debate online between those who call themselves true socialists and those who call themselves moderates. People who advocate for markets, social ownership, within the framework of a market economy. Yeah. Classical liberal philosopher John Stuart Mill was an advocate, proponent of market socialism. And Yeah, there are important distinctions to be made between Marxism, Leninism, and democratic socialism. Marxism, Leninism being the ideology of the old Soviet Union, clearly not democratic. Yeah. And there's a further distinction to be made. I see people are confused by this, so it's worth clarifying. Democratic socialists are not the same as social democrats. Yeah. Social democrats and democratic socialists will sometimes be members of the same political party, as is the case with the British Labour Party, but their goals are different. Social democrats are not opposed to the existence of capitalism in itself. Democratic socialists are. And there's another distinction to be made between state socialism and libertarian socialism. So socialist parties and movements, they're certainly not all singing from the same hymn sheet.